Hi, hello, and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout, the ins and outs of building a small business from the ground up as a personal trainer and gamer thing. I don't know. I'm trying to change the intro a little bit, and I also forgot to say the podcast. Welcome back to Chaos and Fuckery. Y'all, I'm struggling. Anyways, I'm trying to change the intro a little bit because as we start to talk about different things, it's not just about, business stuff. It is about, building my business, corporate drone to corporate dropout, all of the things that come with it, right? Being in the fitness space, the frustrations of the fitness space, being in the gaming space, the frustrations of the gaming space, being a business owner, the frustrations of being a business owner. And I swear to God, I can never actually, get it right. Oh, we need to do a little check-in as we do on the business episodes when it comes to the Kaizen challenge. How am I doing? I am a week into it, almost two actually. Now, yeah, by the time this really, yeah, almost 2 weeks. How am I doing? Well, I wouldn't say I'm doing as well as I'd like. Right? Habits change over time, and I am struggling to adjust to the randomness of my life right now. And I say that because not everything is within my control, right? What I do on a daily basis as a business owner is within my control. But having nights where at 9 a.m., my husband's coming home and it's a regular day, and at 1 p.m. he's no longer coming home till the next day. Well, that does significantly impact my schedule. Why? Because a lot of my schedule is built around when I can spend time with him and when I can't. And if he's not home, then I have a whole new set of hours that I can go and do things. For instance, that did happen recently, and instead of, just keep living through my day, when that was announced that he wasn't going to be home that night, I took myself on a little bit of a date because my relationship with myself, my relationship with others is also important to building my business. And a lot of the tasks that I had on my list for business stuff to do that night, on like my Kaizen challenge, on my other challenge with my business mentor, were just kind of, things that I could do on my laptop while I was sitting on the couch if my husband was 3D printing. They weren't things that I needed to absolutely get done that night. It was things like thumbnails and, script writing and things that are just easy, give me tasks that I need to do, obviously, that are a big part of my business and a big part of, creating the habits, which is the whole point of the Kaizen challenge, but not something that I couldn't adjust what I was planning on doing the next day, right? So this was a Thursday. On Friday, I had the plan to go see Lilo and Stitch and take myself on a little date. So instead of doing it on Friday, I did it on Thursday night. All good. We are all happy in the world. And that spontaneity and that adaptability is something that I used to have a lot of. It used to be really, really easy for me to just change course, shift plans. I would hyper focus on one thing for an entire day, and then the whole next day would be something completely different. And that was kind of how I thrived. And somehow I got into a place where that was no longer easy for me to do. I needed to live a really consistent routine for me to function at all. And I don't like that version of me. I like being able to be spontaneous and, get the things I need to get done, obviously. But then I can go jump and, go to the beach or go find photography spots or go reconnect with nature or I am considering here in the next few months being a little bit more of a nomad. I'm not selling my property, but at times when my husband's not home, maybe pick up all my computers and go somewhere. So if all of my videos, my main videos are done, I don't really need a desktop. I mean, I do to game, but I can live in a world where for a weekend, right? If I'm home alone for a weekend, whatever, that I can, go travel my own state, go a couple states and take, my animals with me. That's the life I want to live. And I don't want to be stuck to my house even if like there's no one here to share it with. And I don't want to not have animals either. So they get to be a part of this journey, whether it be me buying an RV at some point this year so that I can, hop in the RV and take them with me so that they feel comfortable, or, one of those like van life things. I feel like with 3 cats, van life might be a little extreme. So yeah, a small RV would probably do the trick if it was just me and the cats. That's something I'm considering right now. If at times where my husband is doing what he needs to do for work, I get to travel around the country and not give up, having animals, because my animals mean the world to me, and I want to take them everywhere with me, because I don't know that I would be able to stay at like a campground without them. So I need to figure out a solution for how that would work, how I can reappear when my husband gets home and still, not be a slave to my desk. And maybe it starts with, once or twice a week, I work from somewhere other than my house. And that's how it starts. I don't know. But that is where my current reconnecting with me, Kaizen challenge, becoming a business owner journey is guiding me. Florida is a home for me, but it is not home. As a popular TikToker I've seen puts it, home is where the Wi-Fi is. As someone who works remote and is building a business that is, in the online space, I can, work from just about anywhere. I can't stream from just about anywhere, but I can, do recorded gaming videos. And maybe that's kind of my future for the moment, is where I build my YouTube channels to be all offline recorded and I won't stream things. I don't know. I am reconnecting with myself, and I know that's kind of the itch I have right now, is to go travel a lot and find where I want to put my roots, because I do want the big farm life where I can have all the animals and a big property that I build my dream house on, or our dream house on. But I don't know that Florida is where I'm putting those roots. It'll probably still be a coastal state. I'm not gonna lie. I do like being close to a beach for the big farm property. But the thing I realized in this Kaizen challenge, reconnecting with myself, because I've also been looking a lot into my grandmother. At one point in my life was a practicing Wiccan, and tarot has been a big part of my life. And yes, I know that's not directly related to being a Wiccan, or Wicca. I'm not really sure on the proper terminology. Either way, that was a big part of my life as I was growing up, kind of in the confusion of the world. And I have been trying to reconnect with that. And I didn't know enough about the religion. I knew it was very nature based, and I knew it was very do no harm. And I knew it was very, magic isn't a supernatural thing. It is working with the elements of the world kind of thing. And I'm reconnecting with that. I'm learning a lot about, the religion. Do they call it a religion? Like, I think it is considered a religion, but I'm learning more about that practice and how to practice it solo. And maybe eventually, I start joining a coven, if you will. I don't know. That is something that I am trying to reconnect with. I got my own deck. It's a deck that has been calling to me for a little while, because I know you're not supposed to order decks online. You're supposed to go and find that deck that you connect with. But this deck has been nonstop in my TikTok feed, and it is a deck that I have been very connected to for whatever reason. And that gets in today, and I'm excited to, pull cards and get reintroduced to that kind of nature feeling and reconnect. And I've been, taking meetings from outside to kind of reconnect and live in nature as a lizard. And that is what the Kaizen challenge thus far has encouraged me to do, because there is a spiritual goal every day. I have kind of encouraged myself that while I don't really enjoy organized religion, I've encouraged myself to look into, spiritual practices that I am familiar with, and reconnect with myself and reconnect with nature. And that's why I'm excited that next week you will not get, I guess maybe I'll record. Anyways, by this time next week, I will be in Hawaii. I am going for a family event, but I don't plan on spending any of the days outside of that one day that is the event with family. My intention there is to go observe the culture and observe the nature, because one of the things I love about Hawaii is how protected the islands are, or how much they try to protect the islands. And I want to just observe, not, participate, if you will, or cultivate not nature, a culture that is not my own. I love to observe Hawaiian culture and the islands as they are. I don't want to do harm, if you will, to that culture and that world. I'm excited to reconnect with that and kind of close a chapter in my life that, I've been needing to close for a long time. So I feel good. I haven't been 100% on, my daily win maps and my daily checklists, but the Kaizen challenge is challenging me to go outside of reality, go outside of my current bubble and experience life for me rather than the expectations of others. And that brings me to today's topic of business. And it's something I've noticed pretty heavily in both the gaming and streaming space and the fitness space, where people are chasing financials rather than chasing passion when they start a business. And I will be 100% with y'all. With one piece of the business, I chased one thing, and with one piece of the business, I chased the other. And it kind of destroyed me at first. And it not only destroyed how I went about my business, but it destroyed how I was perceived as a business owner, as a coach, as a whatever. For my fitness business, when I originally got trained, right? When I got my certs, I signed up to do all my certs. I was doing it for me. I wanted to learn about fitness. I wanted to learn about nutrition because everything I knew was things you shouldn't do. Everything I had ever been taught when it comes to, the fitness space and nutrition was things that you really shouldn't do. I'm not saying that they're 100% wrong. They'll harm you, but they're not the best way to go about doing things. And so I wanted to learn for myself. And that's why I got my personal training certification in the first place. I didn't really intend on starting a business until I got approached by a business mentor that basically told me that despite the fact that I wasn't quite ready, I needed to just start. And that was in the days of, coaches selling coaching and COVID and paid in fulls and business practices being kind of, scammy. And I got the big eyes, if you will, from the idea of A, being able to build something that I could do from home, and B, the idea of, $10,000+ months. I was definitely chasing money when I started my fitness business. I will say that was when I started. But the more I started talking to people and the more I coached people, the more I realized that not only was I trying to help people like me who kind of had a weird version of the fitness space in their heads, I was trying to make the fitness space a better place because it's not always the best place. And I wanted to be, a shining light, if you will, at a different point. In the beginning, though, when I hired that mentor and I first started trying to get clients, even though I had no business doing so at that point in time, because at that point I was in the middle of my certifications as well, and the mentor told me it didn't matter that I wasn't certified, which should in theory have been, a red flag. But it was not, and I am hating myself for even trying to coach people without my certifications. I was one of those people that I now hate. And I am not afraid to admit that, but it is a shameful thing in my business. It's like one of those red flag things in my business in the early days. I'm not a grifter, although some people have tried to call me a grifter recently. I'm not. I have gone through all of my certifications. I have gone through many certifications, not just one version of a certification, in both nutrition and personal trainings. I am legit. I'm not a grifter, but that's not the point. When I started my fitness business, I started it chasing money. I wanted the extra cash. I wanted a life I could build where I could go anywhere in the world. I've always wanted that. And that was cool. But when I started streaming and when I changed my niche from just the general females that got scammed by MLMs and whatever the fuck my ideal client was back then, when I thought I was just gonna be trendy and get the most obvious type of clients, it grosses me out the way I used to deal with my fitness business. Anyway, when that shift happened, when I switched from the generic females aged 25 to 30 that need to lose 10 pounds grossness to gamers, was when I started streaming. And that part was truly uniquely me chasing a passion, wanting to be a streamer wanting to play video games for money, if you will, wanting to create YouTube videos as a gamer was the chasing the passion piece of my business. And that is the true longevity key, in my opinion. You cannot build a business if all you care about is the money that business brings in. You have to have a passion for it. You have to have a love for it. You have to have a story for why that business came to be. Or else you're just gonna inconsistently live in this nightmare of, I build this thing that I don't really care about. And truth be told, I believe up until this point where I am now getting more and more consistent and more drive, that is why I was never consistent with my content as a fitness coach. Because I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do. I wasn't talking about topics I wanted to talk about. I had no passion behind it. I was just like, yay, 3 tips to lose weight. And like, no one fucking cares. Like, everyone and their mother can Google how to fucking create their macros. No one cares about a macro spreadsheet. No one cares. They want to know, how can I lose 10 pounds and still get fucked up every weekend? Legit. Like, that is what a lot of people want to know. They want to know, how can I, feel more comfortable gaming for 12 hours a day without having to also spend 12 hours in a gym. They want to know what products are actually worth it. Those are the things people in the fitness space actually want to know. Because those are the things that I would have wanted to know. And that's the thing, is when you're just chasing money, which a lot of people in the fitness space, good Lord. And I've talked about this before, but my God, have the prices in the fitness space gotten absolutely absurdly out of control. I could not fathom charging, $1,000 a month for nutrition coaching, even for nutrition and personal training. Like, you better be sending me a fucking chef or meals in the mail if I'm paying you $1,000 a month. That is just insane to me. And I don't know how to reconcile that with, running a business. Because as a consumer, I think the way my industry has gone is absolutely insane. But at the same point, as a business owner, if I don't keep up with these things, I either look like I'm not worth it, as in, like, I don't have enough time under my belt, or I don't coach the same as these people, or I'm the bargain bin where people don't have to take what I do seriously. And I just wish the community as a whole would say, hey, let's stop rating people for filth. Fitness should not be considered a luxury, and we need to help these people, because when you do it for passion and not for money, you genuinely want to help, and your price tag doesn't matter. But when you're doing it for money, you have to think about, your business and how you run it and how you pay yourself and how you pay employees if you have them. And that is a thing that I've always struggled with the fitness business. Whereas gaming has always just been, hey, like my ideal client on the fitness side is a gamer. So I'm going to go with places where my gamer friends are. And if they want to come be clients, they can come be clients. That's fine. Cool. Yay. I don't have to worry about it, right? I get to enjoy my passion and occasionally make money doing it. I get to, play Mario games and run around Super Nintendo World with my little beat thing. And it doesn't matter. I get to simply just exist. And that is a world where I want to be, truthfully. I want to be a world where I just get to exist. And hopefully, we are there. But I don't know. I do not know at this particular moment if I get to exist in a world where I have passion and I make money. And that's just kind of the general business push, right? If you are someone who's looking to start a small business and you don't have passion for it and you're just doing it for money, especially if you're in the fitness or gaming space, I'm sorry, you're getting into the wrong industries. Because I wouldn't stream. Genuinely, if I was just trying to make money, YouTube and Twitch, or YouTube and Kick, or the YouTube Kick and Twitch, whatever your strategy is for becoming a content creator, if you will, it is going to be a nightmarish level of hard work to be seen, let alone make a living on those platforms. They are oversaturated. So if you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to survive. If you don't have a passion to help people as a personal trainer or a nutrition coach, and you just want money, because I fell victim to the $10,000 a month online nutrition coaching. Like, I will guarantee you get these things. Yeah, sure, those guarantees work if you want to, sometimes follow really scammy practices. And at the end of the day, you might see the money. But what happens when you have a bad month and you don't see that money? Are you still going to hate your job? Or are you still going to love your job? Because you're still helping people when it comes to the fitness space. If you're not in it to help people, you are not in it for the right reasons. And I had to really, really dig down deep at one point. And why? Why do I want this? Is it just a business I have in the background to fund other things that I genuinely want to do and have a passion for? Or is it something I actually want to do? Will I stay as the face of this business and actually coach people when I get the opportunity to open my other businesses? And that was the thing that I had to really dig down deep, because I have talked about multiple times over how I want to use, the capital that I have in this business as it grows, when it does grow, to fund things like my dance studio, to fund as an investor, if you will, in something like a pool hall. I want that. But when those things happen, would I still coach, or am I going to hand pretty much this business, to an assistant coach? And the answer is always, I will still coach. I love helping people. I love seeing that light bulb turn on when they realize that it doesn't have to be so hard, and that there are 500 different ways they can do things, and we just have to figure it out together. That is where we're at in the world with fitness right now. And I love those moments. I love helping people. And I love, figuring out the right training and nutrition deal with someone who might be utilizing something like a GLP-1. I love the newness of things like that, and figuring out all the new studies and all the new training. I love the learning aspect of being a fitness coach as well. And yes, I will absolutely get that running my other businesses, because I know nothing about running a restaurant. Nothing, or bar, because it'll be more likely a bar. I know nothing, and I'm going to have to learn a lot to, eventually open that pool hall I want to open. I know enough about the dance world to run a dance studio, but I haven't been actively a part of it in a decade, give or take. Probably more than that at this point. I think it's almost probably closer to 2 decades. So I am still going to have to learn a lot, and, to hire the teachers that I need to hire, because I'm not going to even claim that I can be a dance teacher. Could I coach littles? Probably. But I would rather hire experts. So I'm going to have a pretty large staff to pay from the start. And I need to know that that investment is going to work out in my favor. And I'm going to have to keep learning and living and pushing to build those businesses. So when you start something for money, you get inconsistent. You end up not pushing as hard because it doesn't mean anything to you. It's the same thing with fitness, right? If I have a scholarship client that has no financial investment in their journey with me, they are likely to be the most disconnected person that I ever coach. But if I make, even if it's a small fee, like a $50 fee, $25, if you have to pay me $25, $50 a month, you're going to put the work in because you have the financial investment in it. And that's why, as much as I love helping people for free, because I know the economy is the economy, scholarship clients are so hard for me, because I don't have the backbone of, you're paying me, I want to make sure you get the money's worth out of me. And they don't have the, I'm paying you, so I'm going to actually show up to this. And that's hard if you don't love what you're doing and you don't want to continue to grow what you're doing. You just want the money out of people. It's hard when you really look at, going into something for money or going into something for passion. Because, even picking a job, right? Not even running a business. I picked my career currently for money. And I hate it, and I'm miserable, and I literally want to smack people in the face on a daily basis because of how much I hate it. I had no passion for it. I still have no passion for it. I thought maybe I would learn to love it. I never did. I've been in this career for nearly a decade now, or a decade, and not a single day has it gotten better. You want to tell me I have to do this for another 30 years, give or take? 35 years? ain't no fucking way I'm surviving that. So when it comes down to it, well, yes, money is important to survive and live and exist. Just don't chase money, especially when you're building a business. The passion is unbelievably important because this journey fucking sucks sometimes. This journey is hard. This journey is full of haters. This journey is full of doubters as a business owner. Small business especially. You will constantly be told you can't do it. If you don't have the passion and love for whatever it is you're going to do, take it from me, it doesn't fucking work. It just doesn't. And I would love to tell you, like, oh, the money is the motivator. Unless you are like Scrooge McDuck and all you care about is money, you have to have a little bit of passion to survive the hellscape that is building a business. I don't care what industry you're in. It is going to be hell on wheels at the beginning and at other phases when you are trying to build that life. Purely chasing money is either going to get you a very disgruntled clientele. I'm thinking Brittany Dawn style fitness coaching, or you're going to quit before you really hit your stride because you don't love it. And you'll never see that money to begin with that you were chasing. Yeah, that is today's little like business thing. Chase the passion. Find the passion. Even if it's something weird, right? Like video game modding or weird inventions. If you have a passion for it, and you're able to sustain yourself however you sustain yourself. Because I'm not saying go off the ledge and, quit your job in the pursuit of something you have passion for. But if you have passion for it and you truly want to make a run at it, make a run at it. But don't get into something, especially something like fitness, where you're working with people and their emotions, their livelihoods, or their feelings. Because fitness is really emotional. Fitness of all businesses, when you're talking about clientele, is one of the more emotional feelings. So you have to be aware of that and you have to manage that as a coach. And if you don't have the passion for it, you're probably going to flame out. So when it comes to being a small business owner, chase a passion, don't chase the money. Because there are plenty of small business ideas out there that can make you a lot of money. But if you're only in it for money, you might as well be hustling and grinding an MLM. Because at that point, you don't really care. You just want money. But more importantly, don't get into a people service business if all you want is money. Because A, it probably won't work. Most people will see through you. And B, you're doing them a disservice if you don't care about their lives, their personal struggles, like their history. If you don't care about those things and you're getting into a people service business, why? Those are so key to being successful with clients and getting them to do the work you want them to do. Yelling at them and shaming them doesn't work. So yeah, that's my little business rant today. Chase the passion, don't chase the money. As so many people chase money, and myself included. I've chased money and I've chased passion, and chasing passion always works out better. I made affiliate so unbelievably quickly because I had a passion for streaming. And if I really put that passion back into my streams and do it consistently, I could make partner easily. Because I love it and I enjoy it and I would put the time into it. It didn't feel like a chore to put the time into it. But when I started trying to make it a business is when I started to hate it. And that's when I stopped. And until I figure out exactly what I want, and I think I have, I think I want to go back to a lot of, Nintendo games and games I never played on the Nintendo, especially with the Switch 2 coming out, and keep my PlayStation as a hobby, not challenge runs on Souls games and things like that. I want to keep some things as offline hobbies and not things that I stream. And I think that was part of my problem as I started to bring all of my loves, if you will, which made my content confusing. And, obviously the PC, I can game with friends. I can do things like Among Us and Repo and Portal or whatever with friends. But I think my main content is going to be Nintendo again, and going back to Pokemon and going back to still doing the fitness challenges, but doing things that, I enjoy and want to play. Because again, when I tried to make my streaming career about money, I started to hate it. So I'm bringing everything back to the passion, being honest with people on the internet, being honest with myself, being honest in my relationships, and, not continuing to do things that I don't want to do. And I would suggest that a lot of you out there who are maybe struggling with your small businesses right now, because I know a lot of us are, especially with the ever changing tide of pro small business versus anti small business versus whatever, to rediscover your passions if you're struggling a little bit. Why did you get into this? Was it because of money? Because if that's the case, maybe look a little deeper. If you're not passionate for it, maybe stop and do something else that you are passionate about. So yeah, that is today. Today is not so angry, ranty as some of the other ones have been or will be. That was more of just a self-reflection that I think a lot of small business owners could take a beat and listen to, because at the end of the day, when you're chasing money over passion, things will always go sideways. Money, I hate this saying, but I kind of agree that money is the root of all evil sometimes. People chase money and destroy relationships, destroy businesses, destroy whatever. And I don't want to be that person. So I'm going to continue to build the things that I want to build, to live the life comfortably that I want to, while also remembering that I have a passion for these things. I love helping people and I love gaming, and for as long as I have the passion, I will keep going. But the minute I don't, it all ends and I'll do something else that I do have a passion for. So yeah, a little advice to other small business owners out there, but I appreciate you for being here for all the chaos and fuckery. As always, Saturdays are all about business and personal check-ins, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are fitness and gaming. And I release new episodes Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. But if you have had a personal experience with chasing money over chasing passions, or vice versa, you chased a passion and it never really resulted in money, I would love to hear your story in the comments below, and we can connect over being small business owners. So thank you for being here, and I hope I'm trying to think of a way to put chaos and fuckery in this, but today there's not really a lot of chaos or fuckery. So I hope you enjoyed this content, and I hope you continue to be here for all of my chaos and fuckery.